Hi guys, this is a short version. I shot this video about 3 times already. Short version, and just to let you know that I'm still alive out here. It's been about a month since I put a video out, and you're probably wondering, what's going on with me, and I'm okay. I don't have any problems with bad news about having a virus or anything like that so far. But I do have a cold that's been going on for about 3 months already, and I do cough and sneeze, and I do have a little bit of mucus, common cold that you get around this time of year. So I'm watching myself. I think staying in the house for me is harming me more than being outside, but I'm kind of limited to what I can do, and the weather's not always the greatest for a guy that's got a cold anyway. It seems like it's either too cold outside, the wind is blowing like real nasty, or we have problems with it's raining, or when the sun does come out, it's only out for a couple hours in the afternoon. So you walk around a little bit outside and you get a little fresh air, but it's still a little nippy, so you come back in the house and you're scared to death on everything that's going on, So I just want to let you know what I'm going through in our little town here. We have basically 2 grocery stores, and I get my medication from a pharmacy that is exclusively what they call a pharmacy station, and it's in the next town over, which is about 5 miles away. So I get my medication there. I have to go in the store, and then they got the floor marked out. You walk around. You're supposed to keep your distance, wear a mask, wear gloves, get your medication, get the heck out of there, and go in the car and go home and spray down your stuff, whatever. But my biggest thing that I want to talk about is how the Walmarts are working, at least our Walmart anyway. They're making it so that Tuesday of every week it's Senior Citizens Day, right? It's only an hour, which is enough. You can do it. 6 to 7. But here's where they went wrong. Senior citizens, a lot of them have to get their medication. A lot of them are getting it from Walmart. So they're defeating the purpose, because you come in at 6 and you got until 7, and then you go out with your groceries, but you need to get your medication. Well, now you got to wait till 8 o'clock before they open up. So you're going to sit in your car from 7 to 8. A lot of people ain't going to like to do that. Maybe they will. I guess they'll do that if they have to. Well, why don't they open up at 7 o'clock? So they didn't think that one out. They could make it so Tuesday, if it's Senior Citizens Day, open up at 7 o'clock. You're done shopping, you can go right to the pharmacy area, get your meds, and you're out of there. One stop deal. You're done. Out the door. But no, they got to make it so you go outside, unload your groceries, put them in the car, sit in your car for an hour, and then turn around, come back in the store again, maybe get exposed to somebody or something, where they should have it all so the senior citizens can get it all done at once. So far it ain't happened. It's on our 3rd week going on already. 4th week already going on. Now when you go to self-checkout, they got a plexiglass around the attendant that helps you if you got problems, or they got to reset the machines if you're doing the self-checkout. Self-checkouts seem to be working pretty good. But they don't get a chance to walk around like they used to. So I imagine there's a lot of stealing going on that they can't catch. With groceries, people are stealing stuff. Can't swear to it, but you know how it goes. I mean, before they had them all caged in with a plexiglass, they were out walking the floor and watching everybody like hawks, because a lot of people were stealing food. They would scan it and they turn around and see if the attendant is watching, and if they're not watching, they throw it in the bag without scanning it. And then they walk out the door, and they get away with it. But now they got a checker that checks you out, standing by the door, and randomly he can check your list and go through it if he wants, but they don't do it. It takes too long. So Walmart still got put up with the battle with a lot of dishonest people, you know. So that's what's going on there. The way it's set up is that when you get there for senior citizens, you get there before 6, you got to stand in line outside. Now it's going to look terrible. It's going to look like something from, it looks like a crisis, okay? You know, where it's very scary. You know, you can't get into Walmart and everybody's standing in line. They're 6 feet away. They got marks on the sidewalk with yellow tape. You got to stand in your box, so you're 6 feet away from the other person. I think they went one step further. They made it 7 feet. You know, they marked them off 7 feet, which is good. So they're real good that way. And if you're smart, if you can do it, a lot of people can't, wear a mask and rubber gloves. So the way they do it is they open up the door for one person at a time, and they got a attendant inside that takes and breaks the carts apart and gets it ready for you. So all you gotta do is, as soon as they open the door, they let one person in, you grab the cart, go through, and then when you get through the door closes behind you. You have sanitizer that it's like a push bottle. It's not wipes anymore because they ran out of wipes. All your Walmarts are out of wipes. So they got these bottles that you got to squirt in your hand. You wipe your hands down, get it all over your hands, and leave it on there. Don't even wipe it off with a dry cloth. Just leave it on there. It's gonna, you know, it's better to do that. It's gonna feel a little bit slimy at first, but it'll be okay. Believe me. So don't wipe it off with a towel. Just put enough on there so your hands are all wet with it, and then wipe the top of the cart real good with it. Spray that down. Get that nice and wet, and then try not to touch anything that you don't want. You know, don't pick up packages and look at them, and don't feel the bread, you know, and don't pick up every box to see the instructions on it, on how it has to be done, you know. Just get your stuff, throw it in the cart, and get out of there. Because the longer you're in there, the more you get a chance for exposure. So do it quick. Do it as quick as you can. So what I do is I'm so familiar because I'm on a steady, not a diet, but a steady eating system to where I eat the same meals just about every day. I'm very unhealthy by doing that, and I've been doing it before the virus. And I was going to change my life around and start eating more healthier, but now it got worse because now you're stuck with eating everything out of a box, because getting the box out of the freezer, throw it in the cart, is quick. If you're going to put a meal together that's going to require this, that, this, that, this, that, you got to go all over the store to find it all. It's going to take time. So you got to learn how to eat for survival. So if it means to buy manhandler TV dinners and stuff that's quick out of a box that you throw in the microwave or you throw it in the oven, that's where you're going to have to live for a while until things change. So the key to success is get into Walmart or any store, keep your distance, get your stuff, and get out of there as quick as possible. And carry a can of this with you, Lysol, the biggest can you can get. You know, I bought this before the virus. All right. You take that can, before you even go in the store, you spray your hands down with it. You don't need to wipe it up. You know, don't get crazy with it. Just spray your hands down so it's wet. Then go in the store and then use their solution at the same time. So you got double dipping. All right. Now, when you get out of Walmart, you're all done. We already went through what they go, you know, what you do when you get into Walmart. when you get up to the cash register, I forgot to tell you this, make sure you wear rubber gloves. That's helped too. If you don't have rubber gloves, you're okay. I mean, I didn't see too many people with rubber gloves so far. But if you got them, use them. But if you don't, make sure you use a lot of sanitizers, from what they supply you. And then you scan all your stuff, and then you're going to have to touch those pads, put your debit card through. And hopefully you won't have to worry about virus, but there's always that little bit of chance. But then as soon as you get your cart all loaded and get out the door, the first thing you want to do before you get out the door is take those squirt bottles you got at the door and bathe your hands really good with that stuff. Really good. Get it nice and wet. And then do the top of the cart that you're pushing with. And then take it to your car, unload everything, put it in your trunk, take the cart, put it back in the corral so that you're not putting a burden on the people that work for Walmart. Don't just drop your cart off by your car. Take it, put it in the corral. Because these guys are putting their lives on the line working for Walmart. They got to put in 10, 12 hours a day because there's a lot of people that just don't show up for work. So a lot of these people are taking up the slack. So they're working their butts off. So you don't want to make your job any harder than you have to. So put your cart in the corral when you're all done. I try to park my car as close to the corral as I can because I know when I'm done I can take the empty cart and push it in the corral, and now it's there. And the guy that collects the carts, he doesn't have to travel all over the whole parking lot and collect carts. And then maybe get in contact with somebody. So that's my lesson for the day on that. Okay, now when you get your car all full and now you go in the car, take the Lysol can, spray down your steering wheel again. And if your hands are dry because you just got done putting everything in your trunk, hit your hands again with Lysol. Spray them down again. And don't be afraid about being wet. Just go ahead, and your steering wheel is going to be a little wet. Your hands are going to be a little wet. Spray your door knobs down, and then go home. Now, if you got a garage, you got it made. If you don't have a garage, you don't have it made. You're going to have to bring the stuff in the house. But I've got a garage, and I got a freezer out in the garage. So what I do is I unload my trunk, put everything on the floor. I start unpackaging all the frozen stuff. Put all the frozen stuff in the freezer because if you don't, it's going to thaw out. It's going to be junk. So you don't have a choice. And you don't spray your stuff down with Lysol. And you don't take bleach and put that on some of the open fruits and stuff because that'll get in the pores and it could be poisonous to your system. All right? Spray your stuff down as much as you can without harming the food. Like egg cartons, I would recommend don't spray those down because it's going to go right through the fiberglass and get right to the eggs. I mean, you probably could get away with it. You can do what you want with that, but I watched something on not YouTube, it was on the news, and the doctors don't recommend spraying your fruits down. They recommend just taking them to the sink and washing them, and then put them in your refrigerator or wherever you store them, and then wash your hands with soap and water again. That's what they recommend doing. Don't put soap on the fruit itself because you're going to have a problem with the chemicals that are going into the fruits and vegetables. So don't use any soap. Just rinse them off real good with water and then put them away. And you should do that even if the virus wasn't here. You should always wash your vegetables and stuff, fruits included. So let's see, what else did I not cover? A lot of you guys know all this anyway. I'm just putting it out there because I know you guys want to make contact with me a little bit, see what's up with me, see if I'm kicking yet. So I'm just shooting off steam, talking, just to have something that you guys can see me out there. Things are not going the greatest. I've got some problems still, but next week I should have some answers for you, and hopefully I'll have another video next week. No guarantees though. If it doesn't go good, I'm not going to put a video out on it. but some of you may know what I'm talking about. A lot of you don't. But it's not a surprise at all. It's more of a burden. So I don't have anything to give you for vlogs that I can talk about in the house because I ran out of ideas. I just don't have much to talk about. And I bore you to death, so don't even worry about it. But I will get back on track when this virus gets over, and I'll get out and about, start shooting some interesting videos. I was trying to plan a lot of trips, for the summer, and it looks like it all went down the toilet because they're looking at possibly the end of June before they're going to let anybody out. It's the way it sounds. Trump's going to open up, the way it sounds, the end of April for certain businesses to open, but it's going to be social distancing provided by the factory. There's going to be a lot of rules laid down on social distancing and how to manage to get through this virus thing and still be able to work and put product out. We can't shut the country down forever. It's bad enough we've had to shut down this long, because even being shut down for this long, you're going to see a different type of pandemic. It's going to be a financial one that you are probably never familiar with because it's never been that bad. But if you listen to your parents, see, I'm almost 65, and my mom and dad went through the Great Depression, and it was horrifying. They had soup lines. That's all you could do is eat soup. All right, I don't want to scare you guys, but if this thing continues on like it seems to be going to head in that way, people are going to get discouraged more and more as we go. They're going to want to get out of the house, and that's going to be a mistake if they take it upon themselves and do what they please. They got to follow the government guidelines. And you keep people cooped up too long, like I said, you're going to have a different type of pandemic. And it's not going to be very good. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of chaotic things happening if it gets to be too long. That's why the president wants to open this country up for business again. But we got to be really careful. So, all right, this is my short version. I quit. I'm done. I'm going to be back hopefully next week with another video if everything goes right. I'll let you, well, I'm going to tell you, I got three what I call trials and tribulations that I went through since last April. And we're just starting April now. Two of them you don't really know about. Some of you may know about one of them. But I'm going to expose all three of them. And one of them is already exposed, and that's the COVID-19. That's one of the trials and tribulations I'm going through. If you're religious a little bit, you know what I'm talking about, trials and tribulations. It means that the Lord is very upset right now. And the proof is there because the whole world is affected. The whole world. It isn't just the United States. It isn't just China. It's the whole world. So that's a really good sign. So guys, I would suggest, if you haven't already done it, you're sitting in your house, what better time than now is, if you got a Bible, open it up and start reading it. And I suggest reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John first. That's the gospel right there. Get to know Jesus first. And then after you get done with that, you're probably not going to have a real easy time understanding it. But there is a a couple different Bibles you can get, and I recommend, the King James is supposedly supposed to be the main one, and then you got the New King James. But I'm informed now the NIV version is probably the most easiest one to understand. So you can go on on Amazon and order one, and they don't cost much. Get the NIV version, and believe me, the scriptures in there, you can understand them a lot better than you could if you read King James. Because King James got all these big words that I don't even know what they even mean. So it makes it really hard to understand. But folks, I'm just telling you, you don't have to do it. I'm not trying to push religion on you, but what time is better than now? You can see the whole world is crumbling all around us. And now is the time to give yourself to God. I've done it five or 6 years ago already, and it's a roller coaster ride. It really is. I mean, when you first join in with religion and you put all your heart and soul into it, you say, I'm going to really focus hard. I'm going to learn everything I can that I possibly can learn. But see, I have to be tutored. I can't read very well. So I spend a lot of time with tutoring for Bible studies and everything else, and I still have a hard time with it. But I know the basics. I never knew the basics. I never knew why Jesus died in the first place, and until I went to church. Back in school when I went to church, it was boring. I started when I was really young, and I think I ended up right around the same time you'd graduate from high school, which is somewhere around 17 years old, I believe. And I didn't graduate. I quit school. I quit school my sophomore year. I didn't even make it 2 months, and I quit. I had a full-time job, been working ever since. So, yeah, church was boring to me at that time. I didn't pay much attention. Didn't have any idea what it was all about. And I still got confirmed in catechism. I was a Lutheran. So, fell in love with my first wife, and we decided to live by our own rules, which were very sinful. And we lived that way up until about 6 years ago. And then I decided to join a church. And then I really buckled down and I started listening. And I found out that Jesus was crucified to save us all from sin. Well, the first impression I get when they say that, well then, we're all saved. We're all going to go to heaven, right? No, it doesn't mean that. He died to save us all from sin only if we believe in Him. If we believe in Him and understand why He died for us to save us from all of our sins, and we constantly repent as much as we can, sometimes 2-3 times a day, as long as you recognize yourself, because God knows you can't go through the day without sinning. God knows that without Jesus. So Jesus is there to help you. All you have to do is give yourself to Him. And if you can do that, you'll have a much better life. And I swear to it because I've went through it. When I first joined the church, my first 2 years, I did many, many things. Did a lot of praying. I tried to change my lifestyle. I was still working at the time. And I had more testimonies than you could ever imagine. I had some very dangerous situations I got into, and I said a prayer before we even attempted it, and you'd be amazed at the miracles that happened. But it's a roller coaster ride, because what happens is that once you take the Lord, or take Jesus in your heart, or really believe in him strongly, like I did, and you get baptized, and you really get on board, he's going to show you things you've never seen before. Your life is going to be so much brighter and better, and he's going to get you through the hard times. But then what's going to happen as you go, you're going to start falling, because you're going to depend on every time you pray you're going to get answered. Well, he starts out and he proves himself that he's there for you. He's always there. He's never going to leave you. But what happens is you have a tendency to fall. You start going downhill. And then a lot of times your prayers don't get answered like you want them to. And that's what happened to me. And right now, in the last year, I've went through 3 horrible, horrible trials and tribulations. And that's the devil working against the Lord, because he does not want you to be with Jesus. The devil will do anything in his power to fight to get you on his side, because the devil wanted to be God. That's what the great controversy was in heaven before we were even on this earth. Satan got kicked out of heaven and put on this earth with 1/3 of his angels. And this is why we got sin here. And the devil's in control. And that's all I'm going to say. You can take it from there. I'm not trying to push religion. This may be my last video. I don't know. I could get coronavirus and die tomorrow, or die 3 days from now. I hope it don't happen. But now is the best time ever, because the proof is out there. The whole world is experiencing this COVID-19. So don't you think that God is really upset right now? And he's trying to show us that we need to get on board. This is your last chance. And if you don't jump on board, you're not going to be saved. Now, I can get into a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to do it. It's up to you. Get the NIV Bible, or if you can understand the King James, get the King James Version. And there's also one called the New King James Version. If you're not a very good person that can understand big words and the thous and the these and all that stuff, what the NIV version puts it in is more to our language, like we know English today. And if you compare it with the King James Version side by side, you can do that, and you'll find out that it says the exact same thing, only the NIV adds a little bit more words, and they change the word so that if you look it up in the dictionary, it actually means the same thing. But they put in a word that we already know. When we're reading it, we know what that word means. So that's the good thing about it. So if you don't trust the NIV version, compare it. Take the verses and compare them with the King James Version, and you'll find out that it's very accurate. So that's all I'm going to talk about for religion. I know I probably shouldn't have even done that, but I figured I owed it to all you guys out there that are willing to take that leap and get on board with Jesus and bring him into your heart and soul and get to know him. And the way you're going to get to know him is to read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Now, if you want, you can go right to John and read that, if that's all you want to do, because John has got the longest version. It's kind of repeated. Matthew is a short version. Mark goes a little further. Luke goes a little bit more further, and John goes to the ultimate. So you get a real good look at it. If you read all 4, it's kind of a repeat, but it's said in a little different way. And it gets you to understand what Jesus was all about and why he roamed the earth and why he was preaching. Now, he had a hard time preaching, just like you and I would do right now if we knocked on doors. The door would slam in your face. And if you're in a different third world country, you might have to face consequences. They might kill you, you know. But here in the United States, we still got our freedom, and we're trying to keep our freedom in religion. You can jump on board with any type of religion you want. You know, if it's Lutheran, Catholic, Baptist, you know, all your different churches that are well known. There's some that are community churches. They're okay too. Just, you know, get involved with some kind of church, you know. What we're doing now is all the churches are closed, right? But one thing that's cool about it is that we're able to be online on our computers. Thank God the computers are working. It's one thing that's good. And we have what's called Zoom, Zoom. You log on to Zoom, and our church pays a fee, and you can see everyone that's on board that belongs to your church, and you'll see their image on the screen. And if you can only get 6 at a time on your screen, all you do is hit the down arrow and you'll see 6 more. If you got 150 people, you can go through and see who's on. And what they do is they give the sermon, and then they mute everybody so that you don't have everybody, you know, coughing and all the background noise and all that. They mute you so that you can hear the service. And then they unmute when they got questions, so you can discuss it with the pastor or whatever you want to do. So it's pretty cool. I like the way it works. So they didn't close the church, really. They closed it so we don't get in danger with the coronavirus. But you can sit in your home and sit by your computer, and you can take in the whole service. And we have it on Tuesday night or Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock, and we have it on Saturday morning at 10:30 to 12:30. That's my religion. That's what I listen to. And we socialize back and forth. You know, once he opens everybody up, it's on mute. You can ask questions, and for 15 minutes, you know, he opens up 15 minutes early so you can get to talk to him a little bit, the pastor. And yeah, there's a lot of people want to talk all at once, so you end up a lot of times you can't get to talk to them. But at the end, you might have a better chance. And then he also has his personal phone number. You can call him if you want. You know, so a lot of churches are doing that. So don't think that just because the churches are closed that you can't get on board. You can get on board, and you can have services right on your computer and watch. So, all right, I talked too much. I can't seem to cut this short. But I hope you guys are happy that you were able to see my face. It's been a month now, and I don't have any good news. You know, it's all bad. It's like when you turn the TV on, it's all bad news. You don't seem to be getting anywhere with the coronavirus at all. They're trying their best. And my recommendation to you guys is stay off the news. Look at it like once every 3 days. Find out what's going on. But if you do that, just click on the presidential discussion and listen to the whole thing. And then after you get done listening to the whole thing, remember it. I'm sure you will. You'll remember everything he said. And then, for an experiment, do this. The next day, go down and there'll be breaking news. There'll be hundreds of them, breaking news. And then what they do is they take what the president has said and take it out of content. In other words, they'll take a small little piece of it and they'll put it in to make him look bad, that he said something he shouldn't have said. But really, if you remember how he said it, he also said, you know, like for instance, he says, we're running out of money fast for the stimulus money. That's all they reported on the 1 minute and 30-second video for CBS News or whatever you want to say. That's all they put on there. We're running out fast on stimulus money. We're not going to have enough. But what they left out is he says, but we'll get more. They didn't put that part in. They want you to be fearful that we're running out of stimulus money and there's not going to be enough. So that's just one little thing. There's many others. So be careful. Watch the whole presidential speech that he gives and listen very carefully, because he's trying his hardest. He's working very hard. The doctors that are coming up to the podium and talking, they are trying their hardest. They are getting supplies as they're trying their hardest to get supplies. And it's coming slow, but it's gonna come through. I believe that we did more testing than any other country. I believe that. Some of you might think that the president's lying about it. No, I don't think he's lying about it. I don't think he's lying at all. Why would he lie? And then you're going to say, well, so they don't have panic. Well, there's a little truth to that, but I think the United States has got more technology than a lot of the other countries, and I think our numbers are more accurate than a lot of the other countries, and I believe what I hear. And if you can't believe your government, then you might as well give up. That's the way I look at it. And I know that we got off to a bad start when Trump got in. All they wanted to do was sabotage him right off the bat. They tried all they could for him not to get in, but they failed. He got in anyway, and I felt he was doing a great job. He got a lot of stuff done. But there's a lot of people that disagree with me, and that's your opinion. You can debate it all you want, the way you want. Doesn't matter, But if you don't like it because I'm a Trump supporter, that subscribe button that's on the side, just hit the unsubscribe. It's fine with me. It don't matter. If you're going to unsubscribe to me just because I like Trump and you don't, that's your prerogative. It don't matter to me. I don't get paid for YouTube. It don't matter to me. So that's my opinion, folks, and I'm just chilling right now and just chatting on, keeping you entertained the best I can. I sound depressed, but who wouldn't be depressed? Everybody's depressed. They're all locked up in their homes, can't go anywhere. If you want to see something, just look at California. Go on YouTube and look at some of the people that are out and about in their cars and they're driving through town just to see how much of a ghost town it is. Hollywood Boulevard, there's not hardly anybody driving their car down, not even a person walking down the sidewalk. Where all the stars are, the stars that got printed on the sidewalk, there's blocks and blocks and blocks of that. There's not a one soul walking on them. Vegas. Why don't they turn the lights off? Why are they keeping the lights on? They're burning all the electricity. There's nobody in the buildings. They're all in their homes. Vegas has a hard time with water right now, running that dam. Lake Mead is down 100 feet. Turn the lights off. Look at how much electricity you'll save in 5 months. They got every light in Vegas on. Water fountains ain't on, but the lights are on. Can't you turn half of them off or 3/4 of them off? Keep the street lights on so you know we're driving, but you don't need all those fancy lights going. Turn them off. Same with Hollywood Boulevard. Half those lights could be turned off. Maybe they're afraid there's going to be vandalizing. I don't know, but you could turn a lot of them off and save a lot of electricity. Don't you guys agree? Yeah, what do I know? There's only going to be about 75 people that are going to see this video. I wish there was millions. Because maybe Vegas would listen and they'd turn some of them lights off. But ain't it stupid? You know, I seen footage. All lights are on in Vegas. I didn't see Reno. I imagine Reno's the same way. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I probably said it before. I can't seem to keep this short. But you guys have a great night. I'm filming this right now on, I think it's the 11th. Let's see. Today's Sunday. 12th. Today's the 12th. So Sunday the 12th. That's what today is. Of April. April 12th. And this should air tomorrow morning. You guys can watch it. It'll probably be up late tonight. It's 5 o'clock my time right now. I'm videotaping it now. I got bored. I had to shoot a video. I got to put something out there so you guys know I'm okay. So anybody who wants to, comment to me. Let me know how you're doing, because I like to hear from you. I know who you are. There's quite a few of you guys I know very well that make comments. I know once you got really big, I remember when a lot of you guys were small. You were under 1,000 subscribers, and everybody was commenting back and forth, left and right, and we're supporting each other. But all of a sudden, we got more into it, and we got more subscribers, and we got bigger and bigger, and it's hard to keep up with all that stuff. And you can't sit and watch everybody's video, It's hard to do. I mean, everybody's videos are, 15 minutes long, and you got about 150 people you got to try to support. It's hard to do. I try to do the main ones that I'm familiar with, but I also got some large YouTube videos I like to watch, and they're very well put together. I mean, very professional. It's almost like watching stuff on Netflix. That's how good they are. They got guys that got cameras, that professionals that work with them, and that's how they come up with really good videos. Me, I got a camera sitting in front of me, and I'm just talking nonsense right now. But there's a lot of channels I watch that are big channels, and it takes up a lot of my time. So I don't get to watch a lot of the smaller YouTube channels like I used to. I also thought that YouTube was designed for people that would run into your video by accident, or it was promoted from YouTube, and then if the title was good and the thumbnail looked good, people would click on it. Well, here's what's happening. The small channels get treated like garbage from YouTube, especially if you're not monetized, and especially if you don't become a partner with YouTube. They will make sure that they tuck you underneath the blanket so that you don't get any exposure. So now you got to depend on supporters. You got to beg for people to watch your videos. You got to tell them that, well, I'll subscribe to you if you subscribe to me, and then you watch a few of their videos, you make a few comments, and then you're off and running for a small time. But if you don't like what you're seeing and they're boring, it may not be your thing. But you're trying to support the small channels to help them out, and what happens is that a lot of their stuff may not be what you're interested in. So you start out, you watch 4 or 5 of their videos, and you make comments, and yeah, it gets you some views on your own because they watch yours, and they may like yours, but you may not like them, or vice versa. So the only way small channels work is they rely on supporters. They don't rely on viewers. Now what I mean by viewers is people that are not creators. They click on your video because it's recommended, because you're considered a good asset to YouTube. They like what they see, it's advertised friendly, and they're going to promote your video. They're going to let it out to the whole world. But if you're a small-time YouTuber like myself and a lot of you others, if you have a subject matter that you do on a daily basis and it's not something that anybody would want to advertise on, YouTube's going to say your material's no good. And then they're not going to, even if you do join up as a partner, you're going to find out that when you click on your videos by yourself, and I noticed it too, I'll click on some of the smaller YouTube channels and I'll click on a video and there's no ad. And then I'll watch another one, there's no ad. And then I'll click on another one and then there is an ad. But it's such a crappy ad that it don't make sense. So you're not going to get really good ads that are going to make any money. So to me, YouTube's getting to be more of a joke all the time when I look at it. But I do appreciate the fact that YouTube allows me to post my videos on YouTube, use it as a tool to get a few people out there so that I can help them. You know, if I could touch, let's say, 100 people per video over a period of a month, that makes me happy. All right? I'm a small YouTuber. Now, some of these guys that are sitting in an excavator or an earth mover, they don't even talk. They just put their camera behind them, stuck to the glass. They show a little bit of their head, and then you're looking out the windshield, and then you look at their daily job that they do each day. All right? People like that stuff. They want to see that stuff. You know, the logging industry, you know, using a feller to fell tree, you know, fall trees. You know, they got a big machine comes in, you know, and then it's got a 48-inch disc on it with teeth on it, and it cuts a tree, and it's got a big grapple around it, and it picks up the tree, and then it lays it down real carefully. I mean, it'll pick up a 65-foot tree with a, I don't know, 36-inch base on it. It'll cut them off in a matter of seconds. They lay them down. People love watching that stuff. And the guy doesn't even have to talk. He hardly talks at all. And he gets thousands of views within the first hour. Well, us small YouTubers that are telling a story or doing a vlog that sounds interesting, we can't get anybody to watch them. But, you know, I'm guilty. I support those people. I like logging. I like excavating because that was my job. I watch probably about 5 or 6 of them every night. And one of the ones I like the best, I guess, and is Banded Farmer. You guys gotta check him out. You know, he doesn't have a lot of subscribers. He's got probably 100 and some thousand. Maybe not even that. Yeah, probably about 100,000, somewhere around there. And he's working on an Oliver tractor, and he bought for little or nothing, and he's fixing it up, and he's got about, I don't know, 150 acres of land. And he's divorced. He's got his dad. Sometimes his dad's in a I don't know, it's like a wheelchair. I think his dad can get around and about, but he doesn't show his dad that much. But he was on the lawnmower cutting grass one day, so I know he's out and about. But his dad sits there and he enjoys what his son is doing, and his son puts out a video. Now his son is probably my age. He's an older man. He talks slow and he goes into detail and shows welding, fixing this and that, and hydraulics on the tractor. And I enjoy watching him. And he's not a very good actor, but he's got 100,000 subscribers. And if you look at his view count, you know, he's got, within one day, he's got 1,400 views, you know, and I'm lucky to get 100 views in a 2-month period, you know. And I'm sure a lot of you other guys that are small YouTubers are having the same problem. But that's just the way it is. You know, you got to have something that people like watching, I guess. You know, so some of us are fortunate, and some of us are not. And I'm not fortunate. Never was my whole life. So, but this is a good hobby. I like it. It's fun. Gives me something to do. It allows me to use my camera, and I enjoy shooting videos more than anything. My biggest problem is I got to keep the camera steady, and even with a gimbal, it's kind of hard. You got to walk slow, and you got to walk on the earth like you're floating. You can't just go boom, boom, boom like a dinosaur. You got to float across when you're using a gimbal. Otherwise, you're going to get that up and down motion as you're walking. You know, that the secret is to float while you're walking. You know, take your time. You know, and a lot of times you get a real nice effect if you run with your camera with a real good gimbal. You can get some really nice footage that way. So that's my thought for today. So I'm going to go, guys. Let you go. I know I've been saying it a long time already, so I don't know. My video's probably way too long. But this will make up for a month's worth of video. So, hey, you guys, you take it easy and be safe. Wear a mask, wear gloves, and use some type of disinfectant for your steering wheel when you go grocery shopping. And if you can't get it, you can use, I believe it's, I don't know, it's like a half a cup of bleach to a gallon of water. Mix that up and then put it in a spray bottle if you got nothing else. You know, that's supposed to work. I hear it's supposed to work. I don't know if it's true or not, but I hear it's supposed to work. But try to get Lysol. That's supposed to be pretty good. And then if you can pick up some hand wipes, sanitizers, try that. But don't look too long. The longer you stay in them stores, the more acceptable you will be to get the virus. So get in and get out. So again, that's my thought for today. We'll see you guys on the next video. All right? Goodbye.